howdy. Hey, we're so glad to be here. Came up from Nashville. Didn't want to, they have these hat boxes that you carry. It's like a little octagonal box with a lid. And I'd already was carrying my guitar on as a carry-on. So I didn't want to, I couldn't bring another carry-on, so I wore my hat. And once you get north of the certain state line, you get some looks. Anyway, we're so glad to be here. It's our first time at the Kennedy Center. All right. Here's a song about a steam-powered tractor festival. It's called the Steam Threshers Reunion. Turn cooler and the autumn wheat is shaking. For just a few days we'll take a break from all of our haymaking. When the prairie grass turns golden and the apple crop is booming, we'll load the truck and go on down to the Steam Threshers Reunion. There's tractors of all sizes, some you have never heard of. Big plates, a homemade hot dish you can't even eat a third of. There's folks in old-time costumes in the Pioneer exhibit, a room full of antique gadgets you can try and guess what is it. There's a brother and a sister on the steam train demonstration. They'll tell you all about it. They're both third generation. There's a coal-powered antique thresher, and 3 or 4 steam shovels, and a square dance in the evening. Do-si-do away your troubles. Schaefer family came here from Brainerd in an RV. Bill's tearing up the flat top, Lacey's sawing on John Hardy. It makes you feel like dancing and laughing and like crying. I'm going to sleep so well tonight without even trying. When the summer nights turn cooler and the autumn wheat is shaking, for just a few days we'll take a break from all of our haymaking. When the prairie grass turns golden and the apple crop is booming, we'll load the truck and go on down to the Steam Threshers Reunion. Packaged, I want made at home. I don't want advertisements on my telephone. I don't want form letters, robocalls, big box shopping malls, digitally remastered, formatted to fit your TV. I want analog, baby. I don't With your phone in your face, it feels like you're light years away from this place. We were like machines in some sci-fi fantasy. I want analog, analog, baby. I want analog, analog, baby. Hey, thank you so much. Do you like that we hired dancers to come out? We didn't really hire them. Next time, though, they're going to cost money. First one's free. I made a record in 2020 called Prairie Love Letter. And it's all about the part of the country where I grew up, which is right on the state line between North Dakota and Minnesota. The Red River would separate those two states. And it's I believe, if last I checked, the largest Norwegian American enclave in the country. And there's some Swedes there too. Regrettably, no. There's a feud, you see. But everyone gets along, and of course they all get along. But I grew up, thinking it was normal to have lutefisk at Christmas time. Pickled herring, kransekake, kroomkake, and lefse, and things like that. And the old folks with their Norwegian bits and pieces of the language that were still there. Anyway, I moved away. I moved to Texas when I was 19, and it took me a while to realize that upbringing I had was somewhat exotic, as far as I think it's exotic. But I wrote a whole album about that area, and this song is about an old farmer that passes away, and he takes with him some of the generational qualities and sparkles and vernacular. And it's called The Prairie Funeral. It was a funeral on the prairie, all his children gathered round, and put him in a horse-drawn wagon and drove him into town. In the dark of February, snow covered up the ground. In a pioneer church made out of sod, we sang A Mighty Fortress Is Our God. He was born in 1898 when the plains burned red and green. To God-fearing pilgrim parents, the 12th kid of 13, we broke out that ground yard by yard with a mule and an oxen team. Now we're burying him out on the lone prairie where the coyotes howl and the wind blows free. Well, back at the house we pushed that big oak table against the wall, built a fire in the cast iron cook stove, made room for one and all. The children and grandchildren piled our snow boots in the hall. The women worked like an oiled machine, the coffee boiled and the kettle screamed. And then the old folks took to telling tales of back when they were young. And it weren't too long before that four-string banjo began to strum. Mom played the fiddle and my Uncle Lars played his accordion. Farmers cried in their flannel sleeves when we sang that song from the old country. Well, that was long ago, and as the years go by, I still forget he's gone. But I look out on the open his soul lives on. He's the red sky mirrored on the lake. He's the first cold light of dawn. He's a coyote's wail. He's a winter storm. He's the August wind blowing through the corn. Hey, thank you very much. Would you like to meet my family up here? All right, on the bass fiddle, that's Ashley Cottle. I should say she's a wonderful songwriter and singer, and she plays multiple instruments. She plays the banjo, the clawhammer banjo, which is the truly dangerous banjo. And what else? Oh, I found out, because we've been in the car a lot together, that she plays the flute. But I can't afford her flute playing, so we're just going to stick. It's very expensive in more ways than one. And on the fiddle and the mandolin tonight, that's Paul Kramer. Paul has a history degree. So I won't ask you for any facts because last night, yeah. But he's a wonderful songwriter as well. Plays the guitar. Am I forgetting anything? You play the mandolin. He's a national mandolin champion. And he likes both dogs and cats.
It's true.
I love them both, and we came up from Nashville and trying to bring a little, what I would call country music to y'all. I know that there's a country music community here as well, but it's nice to, spread around the vernacular a little bit. Sounds a little dirty, doesn't it? Am I allowed to say that in here? Should I be more proper? No. Okay. Should I wear like a pantsuit, like maybe with a skirt? Seems like it's so beautiful in here. Well, thank you for being here. Here's another tune from the Prairie Love Letter album, and this is a song about my dad. My dad grew up on a farm in the middle of North Dakota. North Dakota is the one that looks like a perfect parallelogram. It's almost perfect. If you were to get out a ruler, you would find that it does have that geographical quality. It's also the 50th most visited state in the Union. And nearly the geographical center of North America. My whole family is from North Dakota. Anyway, when my dad was 8 years old, he finally got to drive the family tractor by himself. And he told me this story. These are his words, I just made them rhyme. But being the humble farm boy that he is, would not take any credit. So this is called the John Deere H, and it's from his point of view to the best of my ability. I close my eyes in a wide blue sky spreading out before me, and I'm hearing that old engine crank again in all its glory. It's a faded memory that I go back to now and then. I give my right arm to be on that farm with the John Deere H again. The John Deere H was a row crop tractor, ours was a 43, and I was still too young to drive, but I knew she was made for me. It'd be like heaven to start her up until that stubborn ground, but I'd climb up on the metal seat and make up my own tractor sounds. Cakes was made in a factory down in Waterloo, but my dad had got her secondhand from some folks that we knew. She wasn't sleek and she wasn't fast, took a while to get her going, but she beat a horse and a handheld plow for cutting hay and hoeing. And then to my surprise, he said one night, boy, it's time you got to learn it. And he showed me how to set the spark and set that flywheel turning. I was only 8 years old, I had to stand to reach the pedals, but I was so proud you'd have thought that I just won some kind of medal. She pulled a corn planter in the newly thought out ground, and at harvest time she'd help make hay before the fields turned brown. She cut alfalfa with a sickle mower, and the sweet smell filled the sky, and in dreams at night we'd still be working the John Deere aging night. Well, that old machine was a farm kid's dream, nothing like her before or after, but we let her go in hopes of knowing so-called greener pastures. Though I've been around the world, my life's the envy of most men. I give my right hand for that piece of land and the John Deere H again. I give my right arm to be on that farm with the John Deere H again. Thanks a lot. All right. Well, I drove across Nebraska the other day. The sand hills of Nebraska. It's God's tour de force, if you ask me. If you can't see that, you should look again. Anyway, this song was actually inspired by this book called My Antonia, which takes place in Nebraska around the turn of the last century, when there was like nothing out there. Lying in the wagon bottom, looking out over the side at that great wide open western land. There's not another soul in sight for miles and miles around. We're outside the jurisdiction of man. All along the horizon, only stars. The complete dome of heaven is all ours. Haven't got a nickel, nothing's frying in the pan. We're outside the jurisdiction of man. Seeking fame and fortune made me old before my time, and that life, I forget it if I can. I was made for soft, cool mornings and watching thunderstorms rolling outside the jurisdiction of man. So let my remaining time all pass on a blanket of to bury me neath the work of God's own hand, outside the jurisdiction of man. Would you like to hear a new one that we've never recorded? Well, okay, so I spoke about country music a little while ago. I didn't mean to scare anyone. But I love country music. It's my favorite music. And there are many sub-genres of country music, you know, like American accents. There's not just one. And we like all kinds. We like bluegrass, we like rockabilly, we like hillbilly, we like old time, we like western swing. What else is there? I know. Diesel Billy. And Diesel Billy is, I think that Bill Kirchen coined this word. You guys know Bill Kirchen up here. Anyway, if you're not familiar with the word, it's country music songs that are about exclusively long-haul trucking. People like Red Sovine, Red Simpson, Del Reeves, Dick Curlis, Kay Adams, that sort of person. I wrote this with Mallory Eagle, and it's a song about a trucker named Carol with an E. And every word of this song is true. Oh, Carol with an E, she's the finest trucker I have ever seen. Though only 5'3", you might say that she's a highway queen. In her big rig hauling freight all the way from Santa Fe to New Orleans. She's a long hauling, diesel burning, road dogging machine. Carol with an E. Oh, Carol with an E. She used to live right next door to me. She'd roll home in style, and I knew she'd be back in town a while. 'Cause her man stayed at home, brewing bathtub moonshine all alone. He's a chain-smoking, reefer-toking Billy Goat, and he loves Carol with an E. She ain't afraid of any grade, she's doing her thing in the left hand. Here's another new one, y'all. I wrote this with John Scott Sherrill, who's a songwriter from Nashville. He just got inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. We're very proud of him. We love the guy. He's written a bunch of #1 hits. And when I get to see him, I like to write country music tunes with him. And this is the one. This one's for the old places that you like to go that have not turned into a gastropub or that has a mixologist, but a real down-to-earth, down-home, mom and pop kind of place. It's called I Ain't Through Honky Tonkin' Yet. 2, 1, 2. I've been watching all my friends settling down. They no longer want to go out on the town. Well, I could have that kind of life, I bet. But I ain't through honky-tonkin' yet. Maybe I'll find one of those old familiar places where they pour the coldest beer that you can get. I look around and see my new friends' smiling faces. No, I ain't through honky-tonkin' yet. Sometimes I feel I've got nowhere to go, 'cause they don't make 'em like the ones I used to know. They've traded in the jukebox for a TV set. But I ain't through honky-tonkin' yet. Maybe I'll find one of those old familiar places where they pour the coldest beer that you can get. I look around and see my new friends' smiling faces. No, I ain't through honky-tonkin' yet. No, I ain't through honky-tonkin' yet. All right, well, my latest, greatest news that I'm very excited about is that I released a new record very recently of Western swing songs. I love Western swing. I grew up listening to it, and one of my favorite bands when I was a kid was a band called Asleep at the Wheel, and they're backing me up on the album. And they're all brand new Western swing tunes. And the record's called Obsessed with the West. Paul played some mandolin, some fiddle, and some guitar on it. She played some guitar, right? Yep. He played the electric mandolin, like Tiny Moore, who was Bob Wills' mandolin player for a time. Anyway, and Paul and I wrote this one together. It's a tune about the founding lead singer of Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys, whose name was Tommy Duncan. And I was telling Paul that I like Tommy Duncan so much because he's got this quality to his voice. When you listen to it, you feel like you're drinking a chocolate milkshake And Paul said, well, it might be spiked, a spiked one. And so we came up with if Tommy Duncan's voice was booze. And we wrote this one. A two. Once I had a rowdy streak, wilder than a Texas gale, throwing them down in old Fort Worth town and waking in the Waco jail. Now I've been sober 15 years. I walk a real straight line. But if Tommy Duncan's voice was booze, I'd stay drunk all the time. If I was a Gulf Coast voodoo queen, I'd make you fall in love with me. If I was a hound, I'd track you on down and put you up a live oak tree. If standing me up cost you 1 cent, then I'd have a Yankee dime. And if Tommy Duncan's voice was booze, I'd stay drunk all the time. If I had an old cast iron stove, I'd whip us up a rhubarb pie with berries and cream. Wouldn't that be a dream? Then I could lay right down and die. And if I had a time machine, I'd set it to 39. And if Tommy Duncan's voice was booze, I'd stay drunk all the time, all the time, all the time. And if Tommy Duncan's voice was booze, I'd stay drunk all the time. This is another song off of the new record, and I wrote this with Katie Shore, and she and I sang a duet on the album, but she's not here, so I'm gonna sing her part. It's called "Tell 'Em I'm Dead." If you think I'm not myself, you'd be right. I just want to be alone tonight. I've seen this heartbreak coming for a while, and I've got no desire to reconcile. I'd rather just sit down and drown out these memories in my head. And if he comes around, tell him I'm dead. Well, if you think you found your Mr. Right, you're wrong. He'll love you fast and hot, but not for long. For a while I held on to him tight, but if your eye's on him, I won't put up a fight. 'Cause I'd rather cuddle with a cactus all curled up in my bed. And if he comes around, tell him I'm dead. Tell him I'm dead uptown. the street. I know one you've really got to meet. And if a good lost cause is something that you like, I know one ain't exactly your type. But I'd rather find a mound of fire ants and stay a while instead. And if he comes around, tell him I'm dead. I'd rather live alone in misery and existential dread. And if he comes around, tell him I'm dead. All right, well, this is the title track of the new record, and it's a love song. I'm obsessed with the West, that ruleless old gal, always coming or going, she can't be corralled. Her buzzing cicadas, her chalky white rocks, her high dancing grasses, her black buzzard flocks. I'm obsessed with the West, her tough leaning trees, her hawks on her high lines, her core reaching freeze, her murderous hailstorms, her squalls and cyclones, her blooming pink cactus, her weather bleached bone. Oh, it's her I can't keep from that old love affair. No, she pelts me with sleet and ties knots in my hair. I'm obsessed with the West, that rugged old broad, that unbroke wild pony, that opus of God. Well, we have a few more for you. I wrote this next one with my dear friend, Melissa Carper. This is a love song too. I guess it's a sort of a teenage love song. called Billy and Bo. Dakota farmland, tabletop flats, where Billy and I grew up at. Billy was my friend since we were 10, so I guess I never thought about it much back then. Then we both looked up to this farm boy Bo, tall and strong from shoveling snow and baling hay. His big blue eyes were clear and bright as the prairie sky. The heart wants to go where the heart wants to go, and you can't undo it. Billy never told me so, but I just knew it. Billy loved Bo. Well, Bo won best goat at the 4-H fair, and I went to state for my pie with pears. For raising a pig, Billy won something too, and we all got to go on a trip to the zoo. And Bo and Billy, they laughed and laughed the whole way there and the whole way back. And Billy put his arm around his bud and said, Bo, I sure had fun. The heart wants to go where the heart wants to go, and you can't undo it. Billy never told me so, but I just knew it. Billy loved Bo. Right out of school, Billy just packed everything in his pickup and he never came back. Had a full scholarship in Chicago, made a lot of himself since 20 years ago. And we haven't seen hide nor hair of Bo. Last we heard, he's still with the rodeo. He never got married, heard through the grapevine, but he broke a lot of hearts, including Billy's and mine. The heart wants to go where the heart wants to go, and you can't undo it. Billy never told me so, but I just knew it. The heart wants to go where the heart wants to go, and you can't undo it. Billy never told me so, but I just knew it. Billy loved Bo. If you've ever gone home and not recognized anything, this one's for you. Two, three, four. I could get here with my eyes closed and one hand on the wheel. I'd like to see the rows and rows of corn. It makes me feel like a kid again, to slowly watch my hometown reappear. Well, I know my accent's gone, but I would not put you on. Don't you know I'm from here? Well, I left here full of vinegar back in '99. A guitar in my backseat, big time on my mind. My desire to leave the old me in the dust could not have been more sincere. I look down, knows it friends. Turns out I might need them again. Don't you know I'm from here? Don't you know I'm from here? They didn't even crack a smile. Don't you know I'm from here? Although I've been gone for a while, maybe this little town looked better in my rear view mirror. Don't you know I'm from here? Don't you know I'm from here? So I went down to the grocery store for gasoline and coal. There used to be a greasy spoon downstairs where you could smoke. One side was a hardware shop with a little ice cream counter in the rear. But it does not look the same, and nobody knows my name. Don't they know I'm from here? Don't you know I'm from here? They didn't even crack a smile. Don't you know I'm from here? Although I've been gone for a while, maybe this little town looked better in my rear view mirror. Don't you know I'm from here? Don't you know I'm from here? Well, I've never been a quitter, but I know when I've been beat, and it soothes my wounded pride to feel this dirt under my feet. So I'm looking for a job nobody's hiring, that's been made perfectly clear. I'll find one eventually, I know, 'cause I've got nowhere else to go. Don't you know I'm from here? Don't you know I'm from here? They didn't even crack a smile. Don't you know I'm from here? Oh, I've been gone for a while, maybe this little town looks better in my rear view mirror. Don't you know I'm from here? 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 Well, I appreciate you all so much for coming out to this beautiful place. And they've been so hospitable to us here. They even gave us COVID tests, which we passed. It's always such a relief, you know. Even if you're not worried about it. Oh no, what if I have it and I can't play? But we did not, so thankfully. It's been really fun. We're going to do one more for you. That's Ashley Cottle on the vocals and playing bass. She's got some albums back there I cannot recommend enough. And on the fiddle and the mandolin and singing, that's Paul Kramer. My name is Brennen Leigh. We're going to leave you with a song about my dog. And I wrote this with Noel McKay. My dog's name is Bjorn, And Bjorn is a Norwegian. Not a Norwegian elk hound, just a Norwegian. He's a black and tan hound dog, and he's mixed with a husky. So he's got these little ears that want to be long, and he speaks with them. He talks to like the mothership, you know, they move around. And he's a little sweetheart. He's got a blue eye and a brown eye, and he's basically, he was dropped from heaven. And you know. We wrote him this song because we found him on the highway. It's called Little Blue-Eyed Dog. Stickers in your hair out here on the highway. You used to be somebody's pup, but no one came to pick you up. Life was lonely, life was rough, but now you're going my way. Hey, little blue-eyed doggy. Hey, little blue-eyed dog. Hey, little blue-eyed dog, I think that you are quite a catch. You should be somewhere playing fetch and running in the clover. But you just ran out of rotten luck. You were headed for some semi-truck about to run you over. Hey, little blue-eyed doggy. Hey, little blue-eyed dog. Come say hello to us. We're going to be hanging out right over there.
Give it up one more time for Brennen Leigh.